That's something that we wanted to share. And this live stream is done by 24 Frames, our partners in this event. So I would like to welcome our next speaker, Fady Younan. Fady has been working and leading the innovation department in one of the telecom companies in Egypt. And now he's heading Hagizli, which is a ticketing and event management provider. Fady will give us more insight and information about the innovation in the arena of events and e-ticketing. Fady?
Thank you. I would say good morning. This too high? It's a pleasure to be with you. In a typical meeting like that, when we talk about ticketing or event management, people talk about event not in the same way that the technical people don't talk about event in the same way that everyone perceives it, which is like a concert or a festival or a gathering, but an event is like anything that can be booked. So typically when we come and talk with such esteemed audience like yourselves, the ticketing companies usually talk about transportation ticketing, and that's of course one of the main things. But because we are here, and because the government here is leading a lot of innovative initiatives and opening up the space of what can be done, and lots of foundations and initiatives happening, I think we will talk about a lot of things when it comes to ticketing. The word Hagizli, before I start, the word Hagizli, it's in Arabic and it stands for book for me. And that's a young company that started 5 years ago that works on the software that is used to book or produce tickets. It's a ticketing software. We will take a very, very quick look on the e-commerce in MENA, and that's for a point that I will explain. And then we will discuss the ticketing in life, the different aspects that are affected by ticketing. All right. According to the latest reports, the e-commerce in MENA is really growing from 39 billion in 2015, going to 51 billion in 2017. Of course, the top country is UAE when it comes to the size of the market and the transactions of the e-commerce. There are many top industries, but we took a snapshot of it, and you will find that event tickets is the third, hotels booking is the second, airline tickets is the first, and the rest is the normal like electronics and stuff like that in e-commerce. So the main message here is that the whole region is moving towards dealing with these things online, and not only online, I would say, but ticketing itself moved from the normal kiosk, which is everyone used to. Even now when people put it in a station or people put it in an event, they put the kiosk, even if there's a software behind it, because people are used to go and buy tickets from a kiosk. But things are moving from this, since the internet came, they book online, and then smartphones, and then because of the entry of the advanced technologies, the wearables, to be very, very precise, multiple payment options, things are moving very, very fast. So it becomes a competition, not about market share, but about customer satisfaction. How will the customer journey become easier using or harnessing the entire ecosystem around us? And this is where ticketing innovation happens. The thing that I want to talk about is ticketing and registration and invitation. When we say ticketing, let me go through it very, very quickly. When we say ticketing, people think the first thing the festivals. This is what I said in the beginning. But talking with you, ticketing affects so many things. The first thing, of course, is getting appointments. Very normal thing. Everyone used to do it by phone. Everyone used to do it by the open door policy. that many organizations here adopt. But according to the latest reports and according to the rise of the e-commerce, the essence of the rise of the e-commerce says that people want to access whatever service they can or whatever reach they can within the convenience of their phones, within the convenience of their desktop maybe or laptops, whatever they're using. So using a ticketing solution makes this very easy for them. The other thing is the workshop and the exhibitions. I understand that part of the audience here were invited by a digital invitation system that we provided, we cooperated with our friends and we provided for this event. So whenever we are talking about an event, we're not talking about an entertainment event or just a culture event, but we're talking about any event, organizational, business, governmental, anything that can be used. The other part is, of course, the transportation. And I know that we have people here from the RTA, and we have other people, of course, representing sectors in the transportation segment. And the transportation booking is something that is moving very, very fast. Getting back to what we present, Getting back to what we present a very, very simple thing. We present a simple system that takes the user, if I may say the user, in 4 basic steps. Number 1 is getting to book a certain event, and by event here I mean anything that can be booked. Number 2 is confirming this booking, either by payment, if payment is required, or registration, if that's required. And the third thing is receiving that, we can call it ticket or pass. And the fourth thing is using it. The last 2 steps of receiving and using, things have moved a lot in them. For example, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I would have come and presented to you that people can receive their tickets via mobile on their smartphones or SMS or email like all what the airlines does now, SMS like so many services, smartphones like so many services like Uber, for example, and Kareem. But right now, things are moving very fast, even than smartphones. So when people receive something, they can access, which is the 4th step, not using the mobile. It doesn't have to depend on the mobile. He can depend on an RFID tag, and he can enter. He can depend on a card that can be charged wirelessly. He can depend on so many other things while being in the place. And this has dual benefits. One of them for the users, which makes it very convenient, very easy to use. I don't have to use my mobile if I don't want to use it. I don't have to depend on an SMS or an email. I can just enter using something at my hand, a small clip that I can use, a coin. And the other thing is, for the service provider, it's very, very useful for what we call attendance reports. It doesn't have to be attendance, but the statistics, the analytics, what people call the big data. How can we track user behavior all around? If we take the transportation, for example, as an example, we don't want only to know that someone booked a ticket and used it at a certain station, but we want to know when did they hop on and when did they hop off, how many stations, is this the normal route, is this user a regular in somehow, how does he use that service, where are they usually, when do they buy, how do they buy, and how do they access the service. These are all data points that, once taken using the innovative technologies, become very, very valuable for the service providers. So this is what I would say today. In 1 year from now, I honestly cannot tell what can we say, but I can tell that there will be a lot of talk about the payments. That's already happening now. And there will be a lot of talk about how the wearables will evolve, because I can access the service using my smartwatch. I can access the service using anything. One of the main things in the features of any ticketing solution, in my opinion, is the portability, which is the first thing. The first thing reads portable widget. So many service providers would like to build an entire system from scratch, and they spend a lot of money on it, a lot of maintenance on it, because they want to build the website to be the booking thing itself. While what we did is we separated the booking experience from whatever is the service provider website or digital experience is happening. Meaning, whatever the thing that we can book for a museum, we can book for an event, we can book for a conference, we can book for a ticket train, we can book for a cinema. All these things happen inside the booking system, and the booking system creates a small widget with the 3 lines of code. This widget can be inserted in the website of the service provider. This gives 2 things. Number 1, of course, the white labeled thing, so everything will not be branded, but this is a given. But number 2, which is important, is the portability. For example, if there is a certain week for a festival taking place for a week, and there is a lot of affiliates participating in this festival, all of them can point to the same ticketing thing on their websites without moving traffic. This is one thing. The other thing is, if you want to combine multiple things to be booked together, then you can create one combined widget and all of the partners can share it. So I can book a flight, I can book the metro ticket, I can book the hotel, and I can book the event, or I can book the conference, or I can register for something, and all this can happen within the same widget because it's very, very portable and it's programmable. So this is one of the things that right now happening, and as well, 3 or 4 years ago, or 2 years ago, we would not have talked about portable widgets, but right now, this is the trend in presenting a service. It's separating it from the service provider website. I would not, of course, it's mobile optimized, and of course, because we understand that a lot of people still want to use the traditional way in booking something or registering for something, so we provide a box office. When we say box office, we mean the kiosk, the counter, when you go and interact with someone physically in order to get this service or to get this ticket. The other rise, in my opinion, is 2 things: the social media and the dynamic codes. One of them is how people access the service. As I said, if I need to register, can I just register with my LinkedIn profile or my Facebook profile? Can the service provider allow me to do this? Or do I have to fill in a long form talking about myself? This makes it very, very easier for people and much more convenient in the user experience. And the second thing is, because I used my personal social profile, then I can share it with other people, and this helps whatever is the event that can be booked. And the other point I would like to mention is the rate scheduling and the discount codes. When people try to build a discount or a promotional module in their ticketing, they build something from scratch as well, and they build something very, very customized for them. But now the trend is to present something that is very dynamic, very open, and anyone can use it as they may. One of the practices of this, or the applications of this, is the promo codes. You can take a promo code and you can use it in whichever way you want to give. You want to give a promotion on a certain ticket, you want to give a promotion so that people cannot register to this event except when they have a certain code. For example, this is a private event, this is not a public event. People would get invited. So people can get a certain promo code or a certain code for them to register for this event. So they are invited by this code. So this makes it very generic, and it has multiple uses. The rate scheduling, of course, is something very well known in the Western world more, which is when we invite people to plan ahead, and it helps a lot people when they are getting tickets. It helps the service provider a lot. So when you buy early, you can have an early bird ticket, which is a discounted ticket because you planned and decided early on making this sale. The last thing is, in the marketing and promotion, although it's not mentioned, but something very related to you would be if we are supporting a certain cause, or if we are raising funds for certain cause, or putting donations for certain cause. Imagine how easy it would be for people when they are registering to take your service in any way, they would apply a certain donation very, very seamlessly from your website. So if I'm booking something or if I'm registering for something, I would agree or I would add, let's say, the value of whatever the value is. I don't want to specify a value, but a certain monetary value, I would specify to add it to my registration, and that would go to a certain cause that I'm personally affiliated with or I feel towards it. And this service provider or this authority or this organization is encouraging me to donate for this. So combining these two things opens a huge stream for people to interact in a different level with the service providers. This is a very, very standard thing. I would not say that we can add a lot to it, but it's very important as well. How do we manage and report and see the reports of such ecosystem? People going in and out, people buying, registering, or invitations are being sent out, people coming to events, or people buying tickets for trains, whatever is happening, how can we see it? So there is a full of modules for the reporting. The most important thing is now everything became real time. So you would see in real time what's happening on both things, whatever booking procedure happening and how people are using these tickets. So these are two things very, very important for any service provider. The last thing is what we talked about, which is the check-in. Now, when people talk about check-in, usually we definitely present printable tickets because some people like it in the old conventional way. But as well, we have the barcode and the self-service check-in. So this is used, of course, in old like airports and every well-known station. But the point is, if I have a rechargeable or an ID or a membership that is an RFID, I can use it multiple times in the check-in. So my check-in here becomes a membership check-in style where I inform the service provider of each time I use his service. And this builds a complete customer profile for the service provider to know his own customers. As I said, we were established 2011, and the success stories I would like to share with you are 2 or 3 things. Number one, in the venues and events, we work in one of the 2 top events in Egypt, in Cairo. We give them both things, the on-site, or we call it the offline box office where people can book, and the online booking portal with all the options, including multiple payment options from credit card, which is known, to normal payment collection options in Egypt, until smart wallets, which is being added, and money, mobile money, which is now booming in the region. The second success story is a transportation story. We have a first Nile taxi in Egypt, and we have the sleep train. Both of them, we provide the online booking, and for Nile Taxi, we provide as well the box office. The second success story is, I would say, a full suite of ticketing solution. We provide the box office for the cinemas in one of the biggest malls in Cairo, called City Stars, And we provide an online portal that views movies across multiple cinemas, not only Sisters, but across multiple cinemas, and people can book through it. That's it. I think that's it. Thank you very much for your time. I understand this is not the macro level of innovation that we were talking before the break, but it's a small application in real life. So thank you very much for your time.